everybody. I guess since the title of this workshop is Building a Revolutionary Student Movement, I guess we should start talking about some of the benefits of capitalism. Okay, nobody got the joke. Just kidding. We are all part of SDS, and so I don't want to speak as though SDS is the revolutionary student movement or the potential revolutionary student movement. However, I want to frame my discussion and how, my experience, building power within my college campuses, has in SDS has framed my experiences. And, coming into Students for Democratic Society has incredible historical implications. In the 1960s, SDS built considerable power among youth in America. It built the power to challenge authority, to actually make relevant changes. However, much of the left, factionalism and incohesive vision, and also lack of analysis of the oppression within the organization, contributed to its failure. However, it represents something that we do have this great potential. We've had this potential for a while. We've had this potential in France. We had it in America, and being in SDS now, we have that potential again. We also have the potential to fail. When our new SDS started up in Martin Luther King Day 2006, we came together with the understanding that politically we differ, ideologically we differ. Our experiences are different as to why we're in the movement. However, we need each other. Our individual factions of beliefs have not been able to sustain a movement that can make lasting change. A lot of times, coming about during a war, we've been confused as being another anti-war group. There are numerous anti-war groups, currently on college campuses: Answer, World Can't Wait, Campus Anti-War Network, and all of them are communist front groups. But it's really, being in Students for Democratic Society, we're not an anti-war group. We are for something. We're trying to build a democratic society. And being for a democratic society makes us inherently anti-capitalist. It means we're against not just this war, but a system of military-industrial complex where our economy depends on keeping a wartime budget. And we are working towards a power shift within society that can fundamentally restructure how power is distributed, who has the decision-making power. And we want to start reconciling the constrictions of oppression because, classism, racism, sexism, heteronormativity, ableism, ageism, these things are all so ingrained in us as growing up under capitalism. And, we believe that while we might not be able to completely transcend these things in our lifetime, we can start actually reconciling the failures of these oppressions through collective and democratic means. With this vision in hand, this does not mean student organizing is easy in any way, shape, or form. The U.S. political culture is incredibly disempowering, especially we're supposedly the millennial generation. And growing up under neoliberalism, we have gotten this narrative, this cultural narrative through advertising, through TV, through media, through our textbooks, that stresses, fierce individualism, ethno-nationalism, and this private relationship between the consumer and the product. We're growing up in a generation where there's very little social contract between, each other. Since the 1950s, unions have considerably lost membership. PTAs, community organizations, churches. The only one group that has actually increased, a community organization that has increased in membership, is Alcoholics Anonymous. Right. So we're trying to organize a group that has no social capital, no understanding of what collective power is. And from this whole Obama mania that we've seen that kind of spring up in the past couple of months, there are people who are grasping onto this vision of hope and change. And I think all of us up here believe that Obama has absolutely no depth behind what he's saying. He claims to be for universal health care for children and did not vote for SCHIP. However, it really shows that there's a large population of young people that know the system doesn't work and are desperate for something, for a vision, for a way to actually fix it, but not necessarily knowing that they can actually be a part of that change rather than electing someone to do it for them. Right now the left does not have the power to utilize this discontent to supersede the current regime. Our experience has shown again and again and again that changing leaders at the top does not transform the lives of those on the bottom of the socioeconomic structure. And that's why we need a bottom-up democratic movement that's going to be in it for the long haul. We need to start creating the structures that can mirror the society we want to see. We need to, not only so we can have democratic organizations that can grow, but also so we can bring new people into the culture of actually having power over decisions that affect their lives, and then so we can democratically decide one day how to have a democratically run airline, or a democratically run supermarket. And this takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of will and dedication from the organizers within SDS and other movements. A lot of the work is incredibly unglamorous and tedious. And it takes a lot of on-the-ground mobilization and engaging people where they're at and starting to bring them into the culture where we can actually participate in these decisions. And the unprecedented explosion of SDS in the past 2 years has kind of put us in the situation where we have the possibility to do that. We started up just a little over 2 years ago. We have 85 officially recognized chapters right now, probably about 120 throughout the nation. We've had 2 national conventions, we have regional conventions, we have caucuses. We've had some major wins. And so we're now in a place of deciding, well, we have this potential and what do we do with it? Now, I could easily use this time to talk about what's wrong with the movement. I have criticisms both of SDS and the left. However, a lot of times these criticisms are not framed in a way that motivate or enthuse us to want to organize. We need to start framing these discussions in a way that's productive and recognize our limitations now. Like, look at the past for inspiration and also for its faults. There are some incredible historical examples that we can utilize in building this movement. However, history has its limitations because it took place under a different era. So what I'd really like to talk about is movement, strategy, theory, and practice, and how it relates to building a revolutionary student movement. Now, all of the social movements, more in America, that's my frame of reference, have utilized different kinds of organizing tactics, different mobilization tactics, different lines of communication, and then theorists wrote about them and put a name to them. And for some reason, I still haven't figured out why, but from SDS's inception, we have utilized a significant number of these tactics. So while the civil rights movement, utilized some, which I'll talk about in a moment, and the labor unions utilized others, we've kind of come together and have a very, very powerful potential. And this has contributed to a lot of our early wins. Like, for instance, within the SDS's first year, the chapter at Pace University in New York City was able to oust their president. And then at Harvard SDS last spring, students successfully won a hunger strike, which helped negotiate better contracts with the security workers on their campus. And even right now in Washington State, Olympia and Tacoma SDS have been successfully mobilizing with their community to fight the militarization of their ports. And in the most recent military shipment from the port of Olympia in November, SDSers, along with their community, were able to successfully shut the port down for 48 hours.